So, you got a 1-star rating, but instead of getting it removed, you panicked, contacted the buyer, and opened a case with Amazon. But nothing worked. Amazon separates feedback and reviews, and most sellers don't realize they're looking at the wrong one. On Amazon, those two are completely different systems with completely different rules for removal. Most sellers still treat reviews and feedback like they're the same thing. They're not. And that confusion is the reason you're sitting on removable negatives you've never disputed and missing review velocity you've never built. By the end of this video, you will have the complete system: feedback removal, negative review handling, Vine, and automated review requests. All of it, step by step. I really want this to be the last video you will ever need to watch on handling negative reviews. My name is Klaidas, and I've spent over 10 years in the Amazon ecosystem, running accounts, launching products, and fixing the exact problems we're covering today. What I'm giving you in this video is the full playbook, step by step. This is the actual process my team at AMZBs runs weekly to keep feedback scores high, negative reviews handled, and review velocity growing on every account we manage. Today, we're covering 5 things: the difference between reviews and feedback, how to remove negative feedback, how to handle negative product reviews, how to build review velocity with Vine and automation, and the policy lines you cannot cross. Let's get into it. Every Amazon seller deals with 2 types of customer opinions, and Amazon treats them completely differently. Feedback is about the seller, like, did the package arrive on time? Was customer service responsive? Did you handle returns well? Feedback lives on your seller profile and directly affects your seller rating. Reviews are about the product. They live on the ASIN itself. A customer talking about product quality, how it looks, how it performs. That's a review. Here's why this matters. Amazon has different removal policies for each one. Feedback that's actually about the product, Amazon will remove it because it belongs as a review, not seller feedback. A negative review about a damaged package from FBA, Amazon should take responsibility for that review because the fulfillment was their job, not yours. When you confuse these two, you end up fighting the wrong battles. You try to remove reviews that Amazon won't touch and ignore feedback that Amazon would have deleted if you just submitted the request. Now, within reviews specifically, there are a few types worth understanding. Star ratings are the fastest signal. Even a half-star difference shifts your click-through rate and conversions. Written reviews carry a lot more depth. They tell potential buyers what to expect and give you direct insights into what's working and what's not. Verified purchase reviews carry the most weight in the Amazon's algorithm because they confirm a real transaction happened. And a photo or video review close the gap between what your listing promises and what the product actually delivers. All 4 types matter. Stars get the click, written reviews build confidence, verified badges build trust, and the visual reviews seal the deal. Now that we know what we're working with, let's talk about cleaning the feedback side first, because that's where the fastest wins are. Feedback management is not something you do when a problem shows up. It's a recurring operational task, like checking your ad spend or restocking your inventory. Something you do once a week, every week. Here's the process. Someone on your team, a VA, an agency, an AI agent, or whoever handles your account ops, goes to the feedback page in Seller Central and reviews every single negative entry. For each one, you're asking a single question. What is this feedback actually about? It falls into one of 3 buckets. Bucket 1, fulfillment complaints. Late delivery, damage in transit, or wrong item shipped. If you're an FBA, Amazon handles the fulfillment. That's their responsibility, not yours. These are the absolute easiest removals. Amazon will often strike through the feedback automatically and add a note that says they take full responsibility for the fulfillment experience. Bucket 2, product complaints. The customer left feedback about the product itself. The material feels cheap, smaller than expected. Those are product reviews sitting in your seller feedback. Amazon policy says that this qualifies for removal. Request it. Bucket 3, genuine seller performance issues. These are slow responses, poor communication, a return you handled badly, and more. They stay as they should. Use them as a signal to tighten your customer support process. The removal process itself is quite simple. Next to each feedback entry, you'll see a drop-down menu. Select Request Removal, and Amazon evaluates it against 4 criteria. The feedback contains obscene language, it contains personally identifiable information about the seller, the entire feedback comment is a product review, or it relates to fulfillment or customer service on an FBA order. If it matches any of those, Amazon removes it. Sometimes they remove it instantly, especially when their algorithm detects keywords like delivery or shipping. Sometimes it might take a few days. Here's the part most sellers miss. If Amazon's automated system rejects your removal requests, that's not the end. You can still open a case in Seller Central and make an argument manually. For example, this feedback is about a product, not a seller. Per Amazon Terms of Service, it qualifies for removal. Push back. Be specific and cite the policy. Now, there is a time limit on this. You have 90 days from the date the feedback was submitted to request removal through the feedback manager. If you miss that window, the feedback will stay on your profile permanently. On the buyer side, they have a separate 60-day window from the day they left the feedback to remove it themselves or adjust it. One more thing that's changed recently, and it's a big one. Starting August 2025, Amazon rolled out star-only seller feedback. Customers can now leave a star rating without any comment. And here's the catch. You obviously cannot appeal star rating feedback through Feedback Manager at all. So when I say weekly feedback review, understand that the removal process now applies primarily to feedback with written comments. Store-only ratings are harder to challenge. That makes catching and removing eligible written feedback even more important while you still can. This is exactly why it's a weekly task. It's not uncommon to see accounts with a 4.8 lifetime feedback rating that still have a handful of removable negatives just sitting there, simply because nobody was consistently checking. A weekly rhythm prevents that. Now, let's move to the harder side, product reviews. Negative product reviews are a different animal. You have far less control here than with feedback. Amazon doesn't give you many levers to pull, but the ones you do have, most sellers aren't using properly. So let's start with the contact approach. When a 1, 2, or 3-star review comes in, your team should be checking several times a week. The goal every single time is the same. Reach out to the customer and resolve the issue. All of this happens through brand customer reviews in Seller Central. In the menu, select brands, then customer reviews. Here, filter to only show 1, 2, and 3-star reviews. Then on review you want to take action on, select contact customer and choose the contact reason. We prefer using the customer support template rather than courtesy refund, as it opens a dialogue with the customer instead of talking about the refund only. When you get a response to your templated message, start by apologizing sincerely, acknowledging that the product didn't meet their expectations, and making it clear you want to fix it. At the same time, before you send a response, process a full refund. Don't wait for the customer to ask and jump through the hoops. When you reply, let them know that the refund has already been processed. Then, if the situation warrants it, offer a replacement. If it's the wrong size, the wrong color, or something fixable about the product fit, offer to send a different variant. Read what the customer actually said before deciding whether this makes sense. Here's one rule you cannot break under any circumstances. Never mention the review itself. Don't ask them to update it. Don't ask them to remove it. Don't hint at it. Your only job in that message is to make the customer whole. If they choose to update their review after a good experience with your support, that's their decision, not your ask. Asking for a review change explicitly or implicitly violates Amazon's terms of service and puts your entire account at risk. Now, what about reviews that violate Amazon guidelines? You do have a reporting path for those. Go to the product listing, find the review, click Report Abuse next to it. Choose the reason, offensive language, irrelevant content, fraudulent review, whatever applies, and Amazon will evaluate it. However, we have to be realistic here. Amazon rarely removes negative reviews unless there's a clear policy violation. Like a customer saying, I didn't like this product isn't a violation. A customer posting unrelated content or using abusive language, that qualifies. Putting a picture of a different product than the product in your listing, Amazon will rarely remove that review, even though it's of a different product. And that was a situation that we had quite recently, and it's incredibly difficult to have Amazon remove these types of reviews. However, if you genuinely believe a review violates Amazon policies, or if it's entirely about the seller and the experience with the customer support and has nothing to do with the product, you can actually contact Amazon seller support directly and make your case. However, you have to be very specific about why it qualifies for removal. Keep in mind though, if the review is mixed, touching both on the product and the seller experience, Amazon won't remove it. And that does apply to the feedback as well. It has to be clearly one or the other. And for everything else, the negative reviews that stay, that you cannot remove, and the customer won't update, treat them as data. Go to the voice of the customer dashboard in Seller Central, check your NCX, your negative customer experience index, look at the return reasons, identify recurring complaints, then trace those complaints back to the source. The product itself, the packaging, the listing images, the bullet points. If the same issue keeps showing up across multiple reviews, it's a product problem, and fixing it does a lot more for your rating long-term than any removal request ever will. Before we get into the next section, if you're finding this useful, like the video and smash the subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. And as a thank you for doing that, here's a picture of a cute baby squirrel. All right, back to Amazon reviews and feedback. Handling negatives is only one side of the equation. The other side is building a consistent flow of new reviews, especially during product launches when you have zero social proof and every single click is an uphill battle. You can use two systems here: Vine for the launch phase and automated requests for everything after. So let's start with Vine. Amazon Vine connects your product with trusted reviewers called Vine Voices. They receive the product for free and leave honest, detailed feedback. You're paying for real reviews from experienced reviewers. Here's what you need to be eligible: a professional seller account. Your brand must be enrolled in brand registry or assigned to a brand registry enrolled brand in the brand representative or reseller role. FBA inventory, and your listing needs fewer than 30 existing reviews. If you sell generic products, you can also qualify without a brand registry. Adult products, digital products, and bulk products are excluded. Here's one critical detail most sellers learn the hard way. Each ASIN can only be enrolled in Vine once in its lifetime. Even if one unit has been claimed via Vine Voice, re-enrollment is not permitted for that ASIN or any variation of the parent ASIN. So your first Vine enrollment on any product is your only shot. You have to make it count. The enrollment itself is straightforward. In Seller Central, go to the Advertising tab, click Vine, enter your ASIN, and follow the steps. You can track claimed units and incoming reviews from the Vine dashboard. Now, the fee structure. Amazon has recently updated it, and right now it's actually a bit more favorable than it used to be. If you enroll 1 or 2 units, there's no fee. If you enroll 3 to 10 units, that costs $75. 11 to 30 units will cost you $200. You're only charged 30 days after the enrollment and after the first Vine review is published. If no review appears within 90 days, you don't pay anything. However, there are some nuances to that. The fee itself is locked at the tier you select during the enrollment process, not based on how many units actually get claimed. If you enroll 4 units at the $75 tier and only one Vine Voice claims a unit, you still owe $75 once that first review posts. So choose your tiers carefully. If you're launching a product with multiple variations, the compliant way to maximize your Vine coverage is to enroll all variations together from the start. Use the Add Variations option in the Vine dashboard. Each child gets its own review pool, all feeding into the parent listing. You get a broader review coverage without any manipulation risk. And I want to be direct about something here. You may have heard of a strategy where sellers launch multiple designs as separate ASINs. Enroll each one in Vine independently, and then merge them into one parent listing afterwards. That approach is no longer viable. Amazon clarified in April 2025 that when you merge separate parent ASINs, only the reviews from your highest enrollment tier are retained. Merge 4 ASINs with 30 reviews each, and you still cap out at 30 on the combined listing. What's worse is that Amazon now is actively flagging this as review manipulation. Sellers have received warnings, ASIN suspensions, and some have lost their Vine access entirely. so don't risk it. Those claimed Vine units count as real sales in Amazon's system. Your honeymoon period starts the moment the first unit is claimed. Organic ranking starts to shift, and you're advertising a product that already has sales velocity behind it before a single organic customer has bought. One thing to keep in mind about the Vine voices: they're not your typical customer, and they didn't choose your product based on price. They're paying income tax on the product's retail value, and they tend to be much more critical than someone who bought willingly at full price. To offset that, price your product lower during the first week of Vine enrollment. It improves review sentiment and supports early ranking at the same time. Realistic expectations. From 30 enrolled units, you'll typically see somewhere between 7 and 22 reviews. Plan around 20 as a working number. Now, let's talk about what happens after launch and automated review requests. Amazon has a built-in request a review button on the order details page in Seller Central. When you click it, Amazon sends a standardized email to the buyer asking for both a product review and seller feedback. You cannot customize the message. Amazon controls the template and automatically translates it into the buyer's language. The window for sending that request is 5 to 30 days after confirmed delivery, 1 request per order. Doing this manually for every order is not realistic at scale. Tools like Sellerboard or Helium 10 automate the process. They trigger the request within the compliant window, exclude refunded orders and orders with negative feedback, and run across all eligible FBA orders by default. The volume really adds up. Some accounts we manage, we usually send between 16 to 30,000 review requests in single non-seasonal months, and sometimes up to 450,000 review requests in December. Amazon template isn't really exciting, but when sent consistently at scale, it moves the needle on the review rate. Vine gets you started, automation keeps the engine running. Everything we've covered so far works because it stays inside Amazon's rules. Step outside of them, and you're not just risking a review removal, but your entire selling account. So let's draw the lines clearly. Incentives for reviews are off the table, which means no discounts, no gift cards, no free products outside of Vine. Product inserts with manipulative wording are also a violation. Anything that steers the customer towards a positive review specifically will get flagged. And selectively requesting reviews only from customers you think had a good experience doesn't fly either. Your request process has to be neutral and applied consistently. You also cannot ask a customer to contact you instead of leaving a negative review. That's subtle, but it's very important. I've seen sellers put inserts in their packaging that say, "Not satisfied? Contact us first." It sounds reasonable, but Amazon considers it review manipulation. And on the flip side, here's what you can do. The request a review button is fair game for every eligible order. Vine is available for new launches. You can use a Q&A section on your listing to respond to questions there because it builds trust and clarifies doubts before they turn into negative reviews. Buyer-seller messaging is your channel for resolving order issues directly. And the voice of the customer data is one of the most underused tools in Seller Central for improving your product and listing. One benchmark worth keeping in mind. Before you start scaling ad spend aggressively on a product, aim for at least 15 meaningful reviews. That's the retail readiness threshold. Below that, you're paying for clicks that land on a listing without enough social proof to cover it. Above it, your ad dollars start compounding. However, you still want to begin your advertising when the first Vine unit is claimed. You don't want to wait for all 15 reviews to start advertising and moving the needle. You still want to gather data, you still want to build the organic ranking and show Amazon that your honeymoon is worth having. These rules aren't complicated. They're just strict. Stay inside them and you build something sustainable. Cut corners and Amazon will eventually catch it. And the cost of that is a lot higher than the slow and steady path. I tried to make all of that as practical and easy to follow as possible so that you can just do it yourself. But I know all of this can be overwhelming. So if you want my team to look at your account and tell you exactly where your review and feedback strategy is leaving money on the table, we offer a free account audit. The link is in the description below. We'll go through your feedback score, your review profile, and your NCX data, and show you what to fix first. In any case, if you're serious about increasing your Amazon revenue, you should 100% go and watch this video about how to improve Amazon CVR without lowering the price. It may just be the missing link you need right now. See you in the next one.